Okay, so let's start immediately. It's gonna be a short class. It's not gonna take time. So today we're gonna be looking at the age calculator. That's what we're gonna be looking at today. Age calculator, and we'll say that any of this software that we are building, we are gonna be using the 6 procedures. So today we're gonna be creating age calculator. And for us to do this, we're going to be doing one, planning. We're going to plan out this software first. Number two, we're going to then design the software. Then three, we're going to develop, which is the actual coding. And four, we're going to test out the software after developing. And finally, five, we're going to deploy. And actually, finally, number six, we're going to keep maintaining the software, if that is the right spelling for that. Okay, so first thing will be to plan out this software. So number one thing is that we want to do age calculator. So first thing will be that we have to ask the user to enter their name. Okay, so when we say ask the user, you normally hear me use the word prompt. So that's the actual word for asking the user to do something. Prompt the user to enter their name. That's the first thing. So once they enter the name, because you want to use this name later, you want to use it to display, say, Ada, your age is so and so. So I want to be able to read in the name. So the second thing will be to read in the name. That's the next thing. And whenever you read, it's always good to assign it to a variable. Whenever you read in something, assign it to a variable. So the next thing will be to ask the user to enter the year of birth. So ask the user to enter the year of birth. And after that, you have to do or reading the year of birth, reading the year, and assign it to a variable so that you can use it later. So anything you want to use later, you have to always assign it to a variable. And since it's year that you're reading in, you have to first of all convert to either integer or double, depending on what you want to use. Okay, so that's what you do. Then once you get in these two things, you have to, number three, determine the current year. And after you must have determined the current year, the person's age, then the person's age is the year of birth minus the current year, or better still, the other way around. The person's age is so it should be the current year minus the year of birth. So that gives you the current year. Then the last thing you are going to do will be to display the age with the name. So that is the planning. So you find out that once you look at a problem, you have to be able to plan out the problem. And once you've planned it out, writing the code becomes easy. You plan the code out, you plan out the software using normal English, your natural language. And you're going to find out now that you're using ChatGPT and other AI tools. Once you copy this plan and put into any AI, the AI is going to write the code in any language that you want. We are writing C sharp now, but AI is going to write this code. You don't necessarily need to know the languages now. In this modern time, you just need to be an expert in understanding how to solve the problem, knowing the thought process that you need to go through to build out a software. This is typically what you do for any software, even when you're building banking application, big app, you need to plan out. Once you're able to write in English the solution, you can be able to just copy that solution, put it into any AI software like Cloud, Cursor, Copilot, and they're going to write out the code for you. And also, when you're able to plan, it's easier for you to understand the code when it is written, okay? So with this said now, I should be able to design after this plan. So the first thing I should have is to prompt the user to enter their name. So I shall have something like this one. Enter your name. That's the first thing. And that takes care of this. So if you're taking it in a new line, you will not have to write this will be the place where they will put the name. But if you're using right line, but if you're using right, then it has to be here. Then the next thing will be what? Prompt the user to enter the year of birth. So I can have something like this. Enter your year of birth. That's the next thing. So you also come here, make a place where you can read in the line. So this one is for reading in the name. This one is for reading in the year of birth. Okay. And the next thing now will be to write the logic that does, you have to determine the current year. Then you write a logic that does the minus, and then it will display it. So that logic, you don't necessarily need to show it here, but you can put in a comment as you're designing. You can put a simple comment that says, determine the current year and subtract it from, and subtract the year of birth from it. Okay. So once you do that, you've determined the year. So next thing will be to display it, which is the last thing. So you display the year. So you can simply say, if it is Augustine, you can say, Augustine, your age is. So you can now put the person's age. Okay, so that is the design. So you see that I actually got the design from the plan. So you plan first. Once you plan, design is how the code should look like when you write the code. So from there now we'll go to the third thing, which is to develop, writing the code itself. So you can see that once you're following this procedure, it's very, very easy for you to write the code. And that is why I gave the assignment that I gave the last time. I said for the first one that we did, we need to be able to write the plan. Then from the plan, we'll get to the design so that we can understand how these codes are written. It is very, very important that you understand this, because that is how you're going to grow as a programmer. If you're in an interview and the white man that wants to employ you asks you, they will expect you to explain your thought process so that they will know, yeah, this person actually knows this. And once you talk about this plan, you've already able to let them know that you really understand what you're doing. Okay, so under develop now, I have to write the real code, and it becomes very easy because we are using console.writeline. We are going to be using the system namespace, or you call it the system package for other programming languages. So once I declare the system, the next thing I will do is to declare the class, because everything is object for in C sharp. So C sharp is an object oriented programming language. So I'm going to declare the class, and once I declare the class, I should be able to open and close this curly bracket. So inside this curly bracket, that's where I'm going to write my code. And like I said before, all our code needs to be inside the main function. So I'm going to simply say static void main. Always the M should be in capital letter. Then I close this and then open up another curly bracket and close it. So I'm going to be opening and closing the curly bracket so that it doesn't confuse us. So I will now put this down here, then tab in, get back in, go down, tap 2 times. Okay, so here is where I'm going to have all the codes written. So now I'm going to follow this design that I've designed here. So the first one will be to console.writeline, enter your name. That's the first thing. So I'm going to here say console dot write line. So when you open the assignment, you see the one we solved. We use write, but I'm going to use write line because I want it to be exactly the way it is on my design. So write is when you want them to be on the same line, but write line, you want to take the input from another line. So I'll say console.write line. Then I open and close this bracket, come back into it, and then use 2 double quotes. Then go in and say enter your name, which is what we have up there. So I'm going to say enter your name, then put this semicolon, put colon and get out and put semicolon. Okay, so this is the first thing here, which is this enter your name, which is asking the user to enter their name. That's the first thing. Okay, so the next thing I will do now will be to read in this name. Once they type it in, I need to read it in. So I'm going to use console dot read line for that. So you know output is write line, but input is read line. So because I want to input something, that's why I'm using read line. So but once I pick it, I want to assign it to a variable. Very, very important. So to assign it to a variable, I'll call the variable name, and the data type is string. So I'm going to say string name equal to. So that is how I read in the name. Okay, so I'm going to go down in 2 places and do the next thing. So the next thing would be this one, enter your year of birth. Enter your year of birth. So I'm going to still say console dot write line, then in brackets and in double quotes, make sure you're doing it exactly the way I'm doing. In bracket and in double quote, I'll ask the user to do what? Enter your year of birth. So enter your year of birth. So that is what I'm gonna do. So once I ask that, I'm gonna put a colon so that the person will, it will be readable. Then I'm gonna come outside here and put a semicolon. So once the person enters, once I've asked him to enter, then I have to read it in. And in order to read it in, I use what? Console dot read line. So once I do this console.readline, I need to assign this to a variable. Very, very important, because I want to use this year of birth later. And year is an integer, so I'm going to say int, and I'm going to say year of birth. And you remember when we are doing variable names, we say that it has to be written in this way: year of birth. The first word of the first letter of the first word has to be in small letter, but subsequent words for multiple worded names, their first letters has to be in capital letter. So this is how you write the name, year of birth, but you have to write in such a way that it's understandable so that they know what you want to write. Okay. Now, once I read it in, everything that you use this function, this method, console.read line to reading, it's always in form of a string. So I have to convert it to an integer. And to convert, I use the function convert dot to what data type. I'm converting it to integer.